This week's Haftorah is from the book of Ezekiel. It's the parsha is VaEra, and it starts with a short preface that the children of Israel will be gathered from the exile into the Holy Land, and there they will live in peace and prosperity. That vengeance will be executed on their many malicious neighbors that surround them. And when that happens, that the nation of Israel and all of the individuals will recognize the providence of Hakadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He. It's basically talking about, it's addressing itself to the righteous at this point, who are basically suffering the indignities and the physical pain from many evil people. The comparison is to Egypt, which was a very powerful nation, and Israel was slaves in Egypt. The bulk of the Haftorah is a prophecy against Pharaoh and Egypt. And Pharaoh is condemned basically because he says, the river is mine, and I made it, or I'm a self-made man. The Chumash uses the word asitini, and it's the style of the Chumash at times to use words that are ambiguous in order to convey two different legitimate meanings at the same time. It can mean I made the river. I am a great person, and the river is mine, and I made it. Or it could mean the river is mine, and I'm a great self-made man. What the commentaries say is that basically Egypt and Pharaoh are saying, now that they have this great resource, they have no need for the blessings from heaven. They're totally independent. They are powerful. They are superior. They have dominion over everything. Nothing can stop them. The idea of total vanity in total denial. That's their basic sin. Very often when you're dealing with sins, the attitude seems to be maybe benign, maybe offensive. All right, you don't like it, and the guy is behaving in a very obnoxious and offensive way. But it doesn't seem to be all that horrible as as murder and robbery and all of these other things. But you can, at some point, you see how the obvious physical horrors that they caused are basically rooted in the horrors in their attitude. And once you recognize the horrors in their attitude, you see just how horrible they really are. That's the point. Another aspect of it, and this is where you're getting into a critique of Israel, is that Egypt is criticized as being an unreliable ally of Israel, and one that causes damage as well. Now, when the prophecy was made, it was during the destruction of the first temple, and basically Israel was fearful of Babylon, Assyria, and they made an alliance, a defense pact with Egypt, Egypt being a powerful country. The problem was that against Sennacherib and Nebuchadnezzar, Egypt was really of no help. So they had a false sense of security, which in the end caused their destruction. The other side is from a spiritual standpoint. They felt that, everything's fine. We don't have to change our behavior and change our points of view. As a result, they did not pay any attention to Yirmiyahu, the prophet, when he spoke in God's name. So the prophet talks about the punishment of Egypt, and he compares Pharaoh to a crocodile lying in the Nile River, and he says basically he's going to be hooked in the mouth or the cheeks, okay, and dragged out of the river. And all of his people are going to be clinging to him, so they're going to be dragged out as well, and then they're going to be thrown on the ground, where they're going to more or less suffocate and be eaten by the wild animals and preyed upon by the birds, the crows and the vultures. It also talks about the practical aspect of it. Was the practical fulfillment of it is that Nebuchadnezzar, again, a very powerful general from a powerful country, is basically going to conquer Egypt and plunder it in a very bloody way. Yet it's going to result in the Egyptians being exiled from their land for 40 years. After that, they will return, but they will never regain their status and in their greatness. They're going to be a very lowly kingdom of no significance. The idea is that Israel will not have any idea or tendency to rely on them. It will be obvious that they are useless as an ally. They're compared to a staff that somebody leans on, a staff of reeds, and it breaks, or you're carrying something using a stick and the stick breaks and puts splinters on your shoulder. That's what Egypt is being compared to. He says that on the day that Egypt is reestablished, that Israel will have status and beauty, and they will be able to speak their minds, and that they will recognize the providence of Hashem. Now, whenever you're talking about Israel, we're talking about basically the tzaddikim and the chachamim among the people. It's not talking about the people who have gone astray. It's talking about the good people who have basically been marginalized and discredited. That's even though basically because of their goodness, but that they will ultimately be redeemed and get their just greatness and their just position, because not only has Egypt been relegated to insignificance, but the people in Israel who are like the Egyptians will also be relegated to insignificance. Now, the obvious connection between the Haftorah and the Parsha is Pharaoh and Egypt. And the issue of Pharaoh and Egypt, when you're talking about Parshas VaEra, is that they are all totally evil. It's just pervasively evil. Pharaoh is persecuting the Jews. The taskmasters are beating the Jews and working them to the bone. The neighbors are looking to throw Israelite babies into the Nile River. Okay, they have different functions and different tasks, but they're all the same Risha'im. That's the basic idea. None of them are any good. And they are powerful. So it comes out, it's that if you kill Pharaoh, okay, that he's just going to be replaced by another Pharaoh who's just the same. You haven't gained anything. If you kill 100 taskmasters, you kill 100 neighbors, the 101st is going to be the same. Okay, so basically war is not an option. It won't accomplish anything, and but not only that, but Israel is weak and small. Egypt is strong and powerful, and not only that, who wants to be a butcher? That's the problem. Okay? So, what the Haftorah is basically coming to say is that you could daven to Hashem, you could say, may Hashem take up my quarrel and take up my war. You could say that Hashem is a God of vengeance, and may He shine. You would want to maintain your dignity over that. You'd want to daven for deliverance from heaven, but there's just not that much you can do about this. But the prophecy itself provides some comfort that the day will come when all of these people who have been committing all of these outrageous horrors, that their dead bodies will be laying on the ground and rotting. Okay? What it comes out is the ultimate is expressed in Psalm 37, where it says the day will come when the righteous will be able to say, I saw Russia, powerful and well rooted, like an influential aristocrat, but he passed away, and he was absolutely zero. I looked for him, but he was not to be found. Thank you.